Thank you. You may be seated. Samantha keeps going to interesting places and sending me pictures, so I steal them and use them. Jesus asked his disciples, who do people say that I am? And so they answered, some say John the Baptist, some Elijah, some say Jeremiah. They defined Jesus by what he looked like, how he seemed, what he did. A prophet, maybe. But they also named him in other ways throughout the Gospels. One who hangs with prostitutes, a drunkard, rule breaker. They were constantly talking behind his back and using names, calling him names that was not befitting the Son of God. And don't we do that with each other too, and ourselves? Call ourselves names? Lazy, crazy, fat, skinny, black, brown, gay, stuck up, too quiet, too loud, not smart enough. That was my name for myself. Paul cautions the people of the church in Rome, don't think of yourself more highly than you ought. That is, more highly than anyone else. Because every one of us, each one of us, we're made in the image and the likeness of God, so we are all pretty remarkable. But none of us better than the other. But every aspect of God is worth more than we can even comprehend and imagine. And this is who we're made in the image of. And each of us, each one of us, is one facet of an aspect of God. So when Paul talks about presenting our bodies a living sacrifice, he's saying, do your faith. Not just think about it. Use your bodies. And there's something about politics here. The politics of the body. So each of us have a body, right? At the same time, each of us are part of a larger body. Different gifts, yet the same spirit, the same source or soul. So if one is not speaking the prophetic word, for instance, if you have the gift of prophecy, if you're not speaking it with faith's grace, or teaching with the graces accorded to the gift of teaching, or giving with generous grace, or expressing compassion with the grace of cheerfulness, the entire body suffers when any of us are not using our gifts in the way that God has given. It is no living sacrifice acceptable and pleasing to God if I teach, but without grace, with arrogance or to wield power over you. It's not a living sacrifice. It is no living sacrifice if you give of your resources, but without the graces of generosity for the tax write-off or to control the outcome of something. How we're to be transformed is not just the intellectual capacity that the word mind suggests. Our minds are not some ethereal entity that hovers between our ears. You may question what does occupy the space between your ears, but it's something. Still, what happens when we have thoughts and memories, ideas and concerns is a complex process of hormones that trigger synapses that send signals to a whole host of spots in the brain that send more signals through the body to move a muscle or around the stomach to clench, maybe from fear, or our tear ducts to cry, or our lungs to fill up so we can laugh. Our brain, our mind does this. But Paul is continuing on from this thought, because Paul loved run-on sentences, and I kind of identify with him in that. From verse 1, he said, our bodies are to be made holy and acceptable, a living sacrifice that is continuously living out our divine personhood. All of it. The body and the mind, the soul, the spirit. All of that is you. All of it is made in the image. All of it is made in the image and likeness of God. And we all share the same matter that comprises the universe. You've heard this before, right? That we're made up of the same substance as the stars. We're all of the same matter that comprise the universe. The source of our being, mind, body, soul, strength, because God contains the universe. And so I was talking about this with a couple of really amazing people here in our town who can't be with us today, but they had some beautiful insights and were reminded of this particular poem, and one of them shared this with me, and I wanted to read it to you because it just goes totally along with this. You may not believe in magic, but don't you think it's strange that the amount of matter in our universe has never slightly changed? That all which makes your body was once part of something more, and every breath you ever breathe has seen it all before. There are countless scores of beauty in all the things that you despise. It could once have been a shooting star that now makes up your thighs. Isn't that a great way to think about your thighs, right? This once was a shooting star. And atoms of forgotten life who've long since ceased to roam may now have the great honor to call your crooked smile their home. You may not believe in magic, but I thought you should know the makings of your heart were born 14 billion years ago. So next time you feel lonely, when this world makes you feel small, just remember that it's part of you, and you're part of it all. Isn't that beautiful? So we have this power, this energy that makes up the stars, but we each only have a share of it. We can never ourselves contain it all, yet we are a part of it all. Of course, we also understand this energy and all this matter is from and is of God. But what then is this power that we as a church hold then, that Jesus then refers to, and I think it's all related, when he says we have the power to bind and to loose? What is Jesus talking about there? Jesus is saying that in the knowing of Jesus and understanding who Jesus is, when we know Jesus, we have the power to do as Jesus does, to give graces, to discern, to call things out as unjust or helpful even. Good. It is in the knowing of Jesus and being known by Jesus, loving and being loved. Jesus, through whom all things were made, the entire universe and all that it contains was birthed through the body of Christ. In whatever way we can imagine that would work. But that's what the Bible is telling us. Everything came through Jesus, was birthed through the body of Christ. So how does this idea inform the way that we might understand the church as the body of Christ. When we operate as Jesus demonstrated for us, to live and move and have our being in Christ through Jesus, we might do things a little bit differently, knowing that the whole universe, everything that's ever been made and ever will be made, is birthed through the body of Christ. And maybe some of that is flowing through this body of Christ here and now. Maybe we would use this endless power a little bit more to create and not tear down, to collaborate rather than to shut down ideas. But how do we use this in practice? When it is so often used, when power is so often used to shame another person or put someone in their place or give them a piece of your mind, we're no longer operating out of those abundant graces that Paul is telling us that our gifts just don't have the same power unless we have these graces. This grace that is poured into us that empowers the gifts that make us strong and vibrant and transformed and transforming as a church community. But when I can look out through the mirror that is God, as I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, and recognize God, to see God and see that God looks like me, recognizing God, and God looks like Lori, and God looks like Betty and Joel and everyone here. You recognize God because you see God's likeness in you. To draw on the magic of that which makes up your eyes and your heart and the sound of your voice, to be empowered to fully live. And then we are free to really look at each other and notice God, recognize God in you and you. And recognize God in those who don't look like me or you or have different ideas about things, even important things to you, because those are never more important than living and being of one body, pouring out the graces of God's gifts, unique and beautiful. Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do you say that I am? What am I called? What am I named?" And Simon says, "You're the Messiah, the child of the living God, essence of the universe and body through whom the universe and all it contains was birthed. And you are a part of me, and I of you. And you have access to the power of the universe to bind and to loose." This is Jesus. And Jesus says, we have the same power. Who are you? What are you called? What is your name? Creative, loving, unique, maker and doer of justice and righteousness, unifier. What is your name? It's essence of the universe, of God, essence of God, child of God. That's your name. So when you're dismissed in a few minutes, I'll meet you under the canopy at the door, at the north door, and I have these mini mirrors. And I want to I'll give one to each of them in this bowl over here. And I invite you to take it home and use it as a reminder throughout the week and forever, however long before you lose it, of the image that you are. And perhaps as a centering way, a focal point to be prayerful in seeing Jesus in you as you pray and as you move about the day. I think I thought they had sticky things on the back. They don't. You might want to figure out a creative way to stick it to something to keep with you as well. But I'd love for it to be an anchor for your prayers and a way to invite the graces and the power of the universe, the power of God that we are into the ways that we move through these next months. And if you're watching on the live stream, just hand me or comment in the comment field or send me a text or email or anything, and if you would like one of these, and I'll just pop it in the mail for you this week. That'd be awesome. Yes. So as we move then into our time of offering, you can bring the offering as you leave. There's the offering plate at the end, at the back. But we're going to just sing Word of God Speak, and I'd love for you to just listen to the words and the music and allow the Word of God to speak to you in these moments as we come to the close of this time together. Generous God, you have given us many gifts and drawn us together into Christ's body, the church. You have blessed us with generous and cheerful spirits. May the gift of our money and our time and our talents support the ministry of your church. Amen. And here's the benediction, and after the benediction, I'm going to share a video that Deb Petzel sent to me, and some of you may have seen it. And it was just so amazing that I had to show it. And it's Amazing Grace, 50 countries who are all affected by COVID coming together and singing Amazing Grace in their languages. It's beautiful. So stick around for that, and I'll meet you at the front afterwards. So, people, friends, church, the body of Christ, essence of God. Resist the powers that use people. Hear the cries of the weak. Dare to work for justice. Know that God, the source, the Word and Spirit, is your help, will keep you safe, and will bring you to new life every day. You are blessed by God and sent to serve. So go in that peace.
So much has changed in our world.
疫情中这么多人失去生命，显明了生命的脆弱与短暂。
Pero la asombrosa gracia y amor de Jesús es más fuerte que la vida y la muerte.
Wo auch immer du bist, ruf seinen Namen an. Jesus.
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 Jesucristo.
Jesucristo.
Yeshua.